All right, so this question is purely about memorization, and you might not have covered this in your math class in school yet if you're in 8th or 9th grade taking this as a PSAT exam. So that's okay, but luckily this is an easy place to add some points. So basically, we need to look at this equation here and recognize that this is y equals mx plus b. This is the most essential version of a linear equation. It's the type that we should be thinking about in our sleep when we're thinking about lines. There are other ways to express linear equations, but we really like this one because it gives us two important pieces. It gives us the slope and the y-intercept. And for this question, they clearly tell us slope is what's important, and so that is the m portion of the equation. So that is the part that's attached to the x. So in this case, we can see that the slope of this line k that they give us is 3, but we don't want the slope of line k. We want a slope that is perpendicular to line k. And basically the way that this works is it's just a memorization thing. So perpendicular lines, oh boy, have negative reciprocal slopes. So let me tell you what that means. A negative means just we flip the sign of something, and a reciprocal just means we flip a fraction upside down. So if we have a slope of 3, well, it definitely means that the other slope, the perpendicular slope, is going to be negative. We can tell from the answer choices that that's the case. But when we talk about a reciprocal, we need it to be a fraction that we flip upside down. But 3 doesn't look like a fraction. You should get in the habit of being able to turn any number into a fraction if you need it to be. In fact, lots of math is really just about knowing where there are hidden ones that you can use whenever you need to create the number that you want, to put in the structure you want. So remember, any number can become a fraction just by putting it over 1. This does not change the value in any way, because it's really just creating a division problem with an easy answer. What is 3 divided by 1? 3. So we've created a fraction basically because we need one to then find a perpendicular slope, which would be negative 1/3. So the reciprocal is we take the top, we put it in the bottom, and the bottom we put it in the top. We flip the fraction upside down, and in this case, because it was a positive slope, it becomes a negative slope, and so there you go. Choice A matches exactly that. So there is really no work. I mean, I did work on the page here, but if I were seeing this question on a test myself, I would have just done this in my head because it's so easy because I have the facts memorized. Just to give you another perspective on it, we could graph a simple equation with that slope, and you can see, even in this graph, that that black line and that red line are perpendicular, right? We also maybe should review what that word means. That means that when they cross, they form a right angle, a 90-degree angle. And the reason it looks that way is that the way that the zooming is on Desmos for this particular view, the home screen view, I have it set so that everything is kind of proportional. So if I messed with it a little bit, let's see if I can do it, it might mess it up. So if I smushed it, yep, see, look. These lines are still perpendicular, but now they don't look perpendicular anymore because my scale in the y-axis is much more compressed than my scale in the x-axis. So it's messing with the angles and the dimensions, and so it's harder to tell. But with Desmos, I hope you can see this, there's basically this home button in the top right. If you just touch that button, it's going to bring you back to basically a 10 by 10 graph where all of the boxes are of equal proportion. So any sort of angles that you need to see, you'll be able to see much more clearly on that home screen. So that's not necessary to solve this question, but in the spirit of learning new things, hopefully that gives you a better perspective on what we're talking about. And yes, for next time, just memorize that perpendicular lines in the XY plane are going to have negative reciprocal slopes. Change the sign, change the fraction, and you're good to go.